I like to think of my story from the Lord as a story of grace. I was born a very, very happy child. I loved performing for my parents, and my mom always used to have people watch me in the front yard because I'd walk up to strangers and hold their hand and go, "I'm Kelly, can I go home with you?" I had so much joy, and when I was about 3 years old, my parents got divorced, and shortly thereafter, a lot of traumatic events happened in my life. My youth was pretty much just taken from me, and I became really depressed. I was about 5 years old, and I was suicidal. I was trying to throw myself off cliffs, light myself on fire. It was very intense, and I knew and thought and realized things I should have never known or thought or realized. And when I was in second grade, I was put in a hospital for 6 weeks for my outlook on life and for everything in that aspect. It was crazy. I remember it was in Anaheim, and we had this huge open living room that all the kids would go and watch TV. And there was a huge glass wall, and right outside the glass wall was the cross from the Crystal Cathedral. And I'd grown up in church, but I knew that God was real, but that was really the extent of what I knew, and it didn't mean much to me. I didn't have much hope or trust or faith or belief in anything that was real and worth living for. But for some reason, I would look at that cross, and I would find hope in my circumstances and in who I was and in my future. So my mom and I moved across the country, and I continued my aggressive life, and in 6th grade I was smoking and stealing, and I was a very violent person. Not who I am, not who I was made to be, but it was just a reaction of I guess, my life and my outlook on things. So when I was about in the end of 6th grade, I realized I can't do this anymore. I made the decision that I was either going to dive into everything my 7th grade year and just let go and let myself, I guess you could say, or I was going to leave it all and let go and let God. So I asked my mom to enroll me in a Christian school, and I think it was like the next day I started. It was really nice because I had a really big English paper due that Friday, and I didn't have to do it because I left the school. So I went to this school, and I remember immediately I saw this girl, Goombu. She was from Africa, and she had the joy of the Lord, and I knew that that's what I was made for. And all of my trials and my circumstances when I was a child, I used to say, this is not me, this is not who I am, I don't know what I'm doing. And even when I would smoke or do whatever I was doing, I'd be like, Lord, I know this is displeasing to you, but then I just go on. But I chose then in 6th grade to give my life to the Lord, and it's been amazing ever since. I feel like that time without Him, looking back, trying to think of how I functioned, I just picture myself without a spine. It's like, how could I get up? How could I blink? I was so hopeless, and I don't understand how someone could live without that much hope. But that's the Lord's grace that got me through. He knew what He was saving me for and what He's made me for. And now it's been an amazing journey, and life is still life. But now I want to live to tell others about why I live and why I'm still alive. And when my time is up, I can't wait to be there. I still would much rather be there, but for much different reasons now. Instead of fear and of this world and wanting to leave, I want to be where I know I belong and where it's better and beautiful and glorious. And I just have to live that out on earth for a little longer until I get there. But the Lord's grace has been so beautiful in my life, and He's so real. And it's not about being a happy-go-lucky Christian. It's about, He's taught me just facing the realities of life, and that His Word is real, and digging in and really figuring out what's in there. It's amazing how many things I think are in Scripture aren't in Scripture, but it's the Word that I have to feed myself on every day, and it's the hope for my future that He's instilled in me, and I just can't wait to see what He has for me further down the road, and I'm so grateful for where He's brought me so far. And that is my story.